You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What's up, guys? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast, episode number 5. Now, today's show, I'm going to get a little bit into Dragon Ball Super and how I feel about the series as a whole as of right now. I'm going to drop a little knowledge on that, some opinions on that, and also a little bit later, going to talk about the politics in gaming. Yes, we all know they exist. We all know they're in the cracks and crevices of the ground that we walk on, and it's very, very nasty. It can be very, very ugly, and we're going to talk about that too, and why I can't stand it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree. But let's jump back on the Dragon Ball Super scene, and let's jump into that. I just want to talk about how I feel about the series as a whole so far from what I've seen. And, I have to honestly say that overall, I'm pretty pleased with the series so far. It's a lot like Kai in a sense as far as the speed of things. It's kind of short. Example, Future Trunks arc. Didn't last too long. I going in watching it, I thought that it was gonna last longer than it did, which is, I guess, is cool because I guess today we live in a world where everybody's in a fucking hurry, man. You know what I mean? I'm guilty of it. We're all probably guilty of it in some sense. And the Dragon Ball that I come to love, the Dragon Ball Z, the uncut is, it can be drawn out. It can be a little long-winded at times, but as a fan of the series, I welcome that. So that's just me, though. Like I said, I'm an older guy, so the younger guys coming in watching the stuff, they're probably coming in on a lot of people on Kai, so it's understandable. I still haven't seen all of Kai. I've been telling myself I'm going to when I get time, but it's just never enough time in the day. I will eventually get around to it, but I can't say when, but I want to see what everybody's talking about because it's kind of split. Like some hate it, some don't. You know what I mean? We'll see. But as far as Dragon Ball Super is concerned, I'm overall pleased with the series so far. I don't think anybody will ever touch Dragon Ball Z or that time frame in the series because a lot of people don't know that in Japan it's just Dragon Ball. That's why I call my podcast Dragon Ball. In America they put Z on it and GT and all of that on it to separate it. In other words, in certain time frames, I guess you can say. But in Japan, it's just one series. It's Dragon Ball. And that's how I like it. That's how I would like it to stay. That's the proper term for it. But so far with the series, though, yeah, it's pretty good. Really anticipating this next one. I really just I can't wait for this one. But up until this point, it's pretty cool. My favorite so far was the Future Trunks arc, and I think a lot of people will agree with me on that. It was just a nice little twist, and it's got a darker tone to it, and that's the one I feel the most right now. At the beginning of the series, when it first started, basically we all know that the two movies that came out, Battle of Gods, and then Resurrection of F, my boy Frieza. But those came out, and then when the series dropped, everybody was kind of waiting for, something different. But we ended up getting, in essence, a rehash of the movies, just stretched out a little bit, fleshed out a little bit more. And, I didn't know how I felt about that at first, but watching it, Toriyama had some stuff, some treats for us. He changed it up. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was, like I said, going to be a rehash. They were going to show some extra stuff, which they did, but they also changed a couple things around. I'm not going to tell you. I don't want to say, because, like I said, just in case somebody hasn't seen it, I would advise everybody who seen the movies to watch the actual series and vice versa, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Because I'm not trying to really spoil anything too much, so let's just keep it like that. On another note, the tournament arc was it was all right. I mean, they had a couple that was just kind of like mediocre to me. I mean, like I said, I got into it because, like I said, it is Dragon Ball, so anything Dragon Ball, I'm on it. But Hit came out of that, and Kaba came out of that, so those are two interesting characters. And if it did anything at all, it basically shed some light on a couple other characters who maybe down the line in the series will get a little bit more shine, and Toriyama might decide to do some more stuff with those guys. So that's one way to look at it. Not my favorite arc, but it was still decent. But yeah, man, as a whole, I would have to say that I'm very pleased with the series and looking forward to the next arc more than I have looked forward to any of the other ones so far, because this one is going to be the Earth's Strongest Warriors, and my boy Tien Han is actually on the squad. Krillin is also on the squad. He decided to get back in there and get some training in. But yeah, man, I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out. What's going to happen? Yamcha is not in the building. He is actually retired. He is done. And, up until this point, that's as it should be. Yamcha fans, I'm sorry. But yeah, man, it's done. He's done. I think he's done. He's a commentator now. He's yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. That's it. But yeah, I didn't want to just linger too far, or linger too long on the series without giving away too many spoilers or whatnot. So I just thought that I would talk about how I felt about it, my opinion about it thus far, and pretty pleased right now with it. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep it like that. Now, what I really want to talk about is the politics involved in the video game industry right now. It is something that has always been around, but in today's media and all the access that we as a people have now, it's become more apparent and more transparent. So let me give you an example. PlayStation 4 comes out. Everybody's enjoying it. Yada da da da. Next thing you know, hey guys, you guys look out for the PS4 Pro. Ooh, what does this do? Well, it's a little faster and it plays 4K. Okay. Xbox did the same thing. Oh, okay. We're gonna do ours. This Xbox Slim or Xbox One Slim or whatever it's called. Okay. All right. I mean, they've been doing it for years. Let's just keep it real with each other. They've been doing it for years. You got the PlayStation 3, then you had the Slim, then you had like another variation of that. I mean, money grabs. I call it money grabs. That's what I call it. And it kind of pisses me off sometimes. I just have to say it. It just pisses me off because, I mean, I just spent $400 on a system, and then 6 months later they're talking about a PS4 Pro. Yeah, but if you trade it in at GameStop, we'll give you 150 for it towards your new system. Look, okay, I am not trying to pay you motherfuckers an extra $200 or whatever just so I can have the word pro written on my PS4. And that's just not how I roll, man. I mean, some people do it. Some people say, oh, yeah, I got friends who, I mean, they damn near wanted to bust a nut, when they heard the news. I mean, hey, if that's what you want to spend your money on, do your thing. But that's just not how I do mine, okay? I know a money grab when I see one. I consider myself, I at least like to think, I consider myself a smart gamer. And by that I mean, I never buy a system when it comes out at first. And usually it's because there's literally no games for it. And it might be one game. And if it's just one, I don't want to spend $400 or $500 or $600 on that system just to play that one game and then waiting another 6 to 8 months before something else I want to play comes out. So I choose to stay away from that. I let the library get a little thick, gain some weight, put some titles out there, and then I go ahead and decide to grab it. Because let's keep it real with each other. All the system is a device to play the content. It's all about content. I don't care what the system looked like or how fast or whatever it was. It's all about the game. Is it a game that you want to play? Are there more than one? Then that's what you should make your decision, base your decision on, in my opinion. So if it's a new game system, I never buy it. I never buy launch day, never, unless it's just something that's so irresistible. That hasn't happened since the early days of Nintendo. I mean, it's really since Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64, like when they released, some dope first party games with the systems. They're not doing that anymore. I mean, for the most part. And Nintendo right now of today, just don't even get me started on them. I mean, they're fucking up in major ways on their consoles. Major. And like I said, it goes with the politics of gaming, because if they were really into the politics of gaming right now, they'd have somebody telling them, look, what the fuck are you guys doing? You're putting out a system with no content. There's no games. And then you want somebody to turn around and buy a game from you for the system, same price as PlayStation and Xbox One games on top of that. And then you don't even have all your shit ready. So basically you're online and all this other stuff. You got stuff you're still working out. It's not even available on launch day. I mean, come on. The only thing you guys have is that Zelda game. But like I said, that one Zelda game is not enough for me to say, I'm going to spend this, play the Zelda game, and then I'm gonna hold my dick in my hand. Like, what else is there to play? What else is there to play? That's what I'm gonna be saying to myself. Now, the Nintendo fanboys might not, but I'm sure some of them will too. I'm sure when it's late at night and they're laying in their beds and they're balled up and they just got finished playing Zelda and beating the game, and their forehead gets a little wet and they begin to worry. Damn, what am I going to play? Yeah, I'm talking to you, that jaded Nintendo fanboy out there off in the distance. So, it's all good. I stick with my handheld right now, my 3DS. When it comes to Nintendo, that's what they are to me. I think handhelds now, not consoles. But they're trying, but they're fighting a losing battle right now in the console war. And man, it's just like people just don't see it until it's too fucking late. But they'll learn. And every major video game company has done some shitty politic type of move. Everybody wants to put out that next system, that the better system or the upgrade. Like I said, with the 3DS, the new 3DS with the fucking thumbstick that looks like an eraser. Yeah, you need this for that and da 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 da. I had just bought GameStop exclusive 3DS, The one that has the Nintendo, looks like a Nintendo controller. Love it. Love it to death. Love the colors. Love everything about it. But maybe like a month later, they come out with the new 3DS. And then I was like, I'm not doing it. So you want everybody with a 3DS right now to get a new 3DS instead? You know how many 3DS owners there are? Millions, man. Get the fuck out of here, Nintendo. The politics of gaming, aka money grabs. The money grabbers. I was trying to get that extra dollar. And Nintendo, they're very, very good and very known for doing shit like that. Let me give you another example. The other day, okay, now I'm always shopping around for, vintage games, 3DS games or whatnot to add to my library, right? So I've been wanting to pick up Pilot Wings Resort. I had so much fun playing Pilot Wings on Super Nintendo back in the day, and I said, you know what, I'm going to pick Pilot Wings up. So I Googled it, and GameStop has it for $5. Matter of fact, I'll probably be picking that up tomorrow. But anyway, I said, you know what, $5, maybe I can just go to the eShop and get it, just get it like that and download it there. So I go to eShop and I type in the name, and guess how much the game is on the eShop? Please just guess. In your head, in your mind, tell me what you think it is. 15 bucks? 20? No. $39.99 on the fucking eShop. Yes, it's no physical copy. The eShop. When I can go to GameStop and get the physical copy for $4.99. Basically go in there and get it free because my gamer points equate to at least $5. Nintendo is so fucking stingy, man, with their shit sometimes. They really are. And that's one thing I don't really like about them. You want to sell a retro game that for $10-15 when you can download it on a fucking cell phone.
Dad, did you mommy said?
And this is why it is so hard to get these podcasts out to you guys the way I would like to. Case in point, the munchkin of Christmas past. Yeah, my son. I have to put together a perfect storm to get these recordings right. So I hope you guys appreciate that. But anyway, as I was saying, he went back into the room. Yeah, Nintendo, they like to grab money. They do. They like to grab the money. It's going to be sad for them, though, with this console. Just got to keep it real. It's going to be sad. And a lot of us already see it coming. The Wii U all over again. Poor marketing, poor politics, poor everything with this Nintendo Switch. I am sorry, but you have to accept it. Yeah, it's a plane crash. But all these politics in gaming, it's quite stressful on the pocket sometimes. Like I said, I consider myself a smart gamer, and I try to minimize the damage to the wallet where all possible. So the good thing is, when you're dealing with a console or a game system that has multiple titles, and we're getting to that point now where there's dozens of titles out for the PlayStation and the Xbox, and you're not going to get to play everything. I mean, there's just not enough time in the day, especially if you work and you have a family like me and a lot of you guys out there. I mean, and even if you didn't have any of those things, there's still not enough time to play everything. It's just not. So you have to pick and choose, some of your games based on how your life is at that point in time. And you just got to be smart with it. I mean, you backlog, you do a lot of backlogging, as I do, and you get to it when you get to it. I mean, I still want to play. I still have not played Dark Souls 3. Still. Been wanting to, but just hadn't had the time. So, I mean, that's typically how I shop. By the time I get around to a game like, oh, man, I want to get Dark Souls now. Oh, it's only $30. I mean, those are like the little things that I like. And you guys also have those timed exclusives as well. I don't like those either. What Microsoft tried to do with Tomb Raider was quite gay. Didn't like it. It was not a good look. I mean, from the consumer standpoint, at least. What do you really get out of a timed exclusive? What do you really get out of that? I don't see what you get out of it. I mean, really, Sony just was like, okay, you guys want to do that? Cool. But when we release it, we're going to give you all the DLC and everything for the regular retail price. That's what we'll do. So, I mean, that kind of war, that battle, why can't all, games be just one? Excuse me, I'm burping because I've been drinking lots and lots of Miller Lite tonight. So you're going to have to excuse me, but I feel great. But yeah, why do they feel that they have to do that? I guess it's just competition, and it's just how it goes. You got a company, I got a company, and we want to be better than you. So that's just the nature of the beast, I guess, right? Oh well, that is the politics of gaming, and that's how it goes. So we just have to learn to be smart and play the game the best way we know how to play it. I know that's how I do it. If there's a game I want to play but not sure if I want to spend $65 on, I'll just hit up a red box. There's also GameFly, but I can't stand GameFly, but that's just me and my story. That's another discussion. But there's other ways to get your hands on games. There's always something out there that if you don't have the money to get the new game that's $65 right now, you can probably go, and I guarantee you there's 3 or 4 games you forgot all about that you could probably pick up for half that price. And by the time you're done with those, believe it or not, if you're not a full-time gamer, I mean, by the time you get around to finishing those, then that game that you wanted will probably have dropped in price. So, I mean, you just have to learn how to play the game sometimes. That's how I do it, at least. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I'm going to end this podcast on this crazy night of mine. Getting off of work at 1 o'clock in the morning, rushing home, having to get ready because I have to go in on a Saturday, which I usually don't, but it's a mandatory Saturday. I have to go in. So that basically just killed my weekend plans. So now I have to cram everything into one day, including this podcast. I was looking forward to having all day on Saturday to record this podcast in peace and quiet when my girlfriend and my son and my kids are away and doing their thing. But it didn't happen that way. And I guess it is what it is. But I'm not going to turn down the money that overtime either. So it's some good money. So I'm going to get it. But I'm trying to cram all this in here for you guys. And for the love of Dragonball and video games, I'm doing it. I had to drink a little Miller Lite to stay sane, if you will, with all this going on. But I got it done. But I do want to thank everybody for bearing with me on this podcast, episode number 5, and sticking with me and listening. And hopefully you got something good out of this conversation. I always say it, and I'll say it again. If you want to comment, please do so. It's very easy. You can hit me at Studio MacGyver on Twitter. You can also email me if you like, Studio MacGyver Music with a K at yahoo.com. With that being said, it has been a pleasure. You have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.